Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Let's chant a little bit. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jayo Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari. Jayo Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Brajanaranjana Yashodanandana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayo Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivaradhari Janna Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jayo Prabhupada, Jayo Prabhupada, Jayo Prabhupada, Shila Prabhupada, Jayo Prabhupada, Jayo Prabhupada, Jayo Prabhupada, Shila Prabhupada. Shila Prabhupada ki jai. Ganharam Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Go Premanandi Hari Hari Bo. Hare Krishna once again to all wonderful devotees gathered together this morning to listen from Srimad Bhagavatam. Maybe you wonder why it's so light in our window behind. Well, now we are giving class at 1 p.m. from Poland, where we came to visit our family. So I'm in the little room of our parents-in-law, where 35 years ago, as a new couple of grihastas, we started serve Krishna together with my wife. So now I'm giving class from this little room about Sakyam. Today's verse is the same from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 5, text number 23-24. Just one quick question. Prabhu, do you hear me properly? Because we had some difficulties with the volume, with the sound.
Yes, I can hear you just fine.
Thank you so much. So, Srimad Bhagavatam 7:5-23. Shiprahrada uvacha Shravanam kirtanam Vishno Smaranam pada sevanam Archanam vandanam dasyam Sakyatmani vedanam Iti pumsarpita Vishnu Bhaktischannava lakshana Kriyeta Bhagavati adha Tanmanye ditam uttamam. Prahlad Maharaj said, hearing and chanting about the transcendental holy name, form, qualities, paraphernalia, and pastimes of Lord Vishnu, remembering them, serving the lotus feet of the Lord, offering the Lord a respectful worship with 16 types of paraphernalia, offering prayers to the Lord, becoming his servant, considering the Lord once the best friend, and surrendering everything unto him, in other words, serving him with the body, mind, and words. These 9 processes are accepted as pure devotional service. One who has dedicated his life to the service of Krishna through these 9 methods should be understood to be the most learned person, for he has acquired complete knowledge. And today we are going to talk a little bit about Sakyam. I'm looking in this long, opulent purport. And here you go. Sakyam. Number 8. In regard to worship, Srila Prabhupada is elaborating. In regard to worshipping the Lord as a friend, the Agastya Samhita states that a devotee engaged in performing devotional service by Shravanam and Kirtanam sometimes wants to see the Lord personally, and for this purpose he resides in the temple. Elsewhere there is this statement, O my Lord, Supreme Personality, an eternal friend, although you are full of bliss and knowledge, you have become a friend of these residents of Vrindavan. How fortunate are these devotees! In this statement, the word friend is specifically used to indicate intense love. Friendship, therefore, is better than servitude. In the stage above Dasyaras, the devotee accepts the Supreme Personality of Godhead as a friend. This is not at all astonishing, for when a devotee is pure in heart, the opulence of his worship of the deity diminishes as spontaneous love for the personality of Godhead is manifested. In this regard, Sridhar Swami mentions Sridham Vipra, who expressed to himself his feelings of obligation, thinking, life after life, may I be connected with Krishna in this friendly attitude. So this is quite advanced, very intimate subject matter of bhakti theology. Krishna mentioned in Bhagavad Gita about this very important aspect of bhakti. In chapter 4, text number 3, Krishna said, Sa evaya maya tedya yoga prokta puratana bhakto sime sakha cheti rahasyam hietat uttamam. The very ancient science of the relationship with the Supreme is today told by me to you because you are my devotee as well as my friend, and can therefore understand the transcendental mystery of this science. So Krishna himself, the Supreme Personality of God, is source of everything, absolute true. He mentioned about bhakti, that it is art and science. And it is possible for Arjuna to hear from Krishna about this bhakti science because he is not only devotee of him, but also well-wishing friend, loving, affectionate friend. So let's analyze a little bit more this Sakyam based on shastrically grounded elaboration. So a relationship between Sakyam as one of the 9 processes of devotional service, Navadha Bhakti, and Sakya as Sakyam Rasa is one of the 5 as one of the 5 primary rasas is Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyatma, Nivedanam are describe what a devotee does in practice for Krishna satisfaction. Sakyam here refers to acting toward Krishna as a friend, confiding in him, trusting in him, relating with intimacy. Whereas 5 primary rasas, rasa tattva, this describe what the devotee becomes in eternal relationship with Krishna. So it refers to particularly Shanta, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, Madhurya. Here Sakya refers to a fully developed eternal rasa, a perfect state of love. So what is the key to just make it like more structural? What is the key distinction between these two, rasa tattva and Navadha Bhakti, these 9 processes of devotional service? So let's analyze them according category. Practice, abhideya. It refers to this 9 processes of devotional service, Navadha Bhakti, and according Sakya Rasa, Rasa Tattva, it is perfection, prayojana, nature. So the nature of this 9 process of devotional service is activity and attitude, developing loving, affectionate attitude to Krishna. Whereas this Rasa Tattva is referring to eternal identity and relationship. Accessibility can be practiced by anyone, these 9 processes of devotional service. Like we are, like Srila Prabhupada mentioned in his purport, one who wants to develop like loving relationship in friendly relationship with Krishna, residing in the temple because he wants to have personal relationship with the Supreme Lord in the form of Archa. Here, Rasa Tattva is revealed by mercy. In sense of role, cultivate in this 9 processes of devotional service, we cultivate intimacy in a relationship with Krishna. Whereas in Sakya Rasa Tattva, this intimacy is perfected, is perfected. So important principle, one may practice Sakya without being in Sakya Rasa, but one cannot be in Sakya Rasa without Sakyam, this friendly attitude toward the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So how Sakyam practice leads to Sakya Rasa? Sakyam as a devotional practice. In the 9 processes, Sakyam means speaking honestly to Krishna. So sometimes when we are in puzzle, what to do in our life, how to proceed, we should reveal our, like not only reveal our heart and mind in confidence to our well-wishing friend devotees around, but also in our prayer to the Supreme Lord, we should be very honest, speaking honestly to the Supreme Lord in our prayer, trusting Him as one's protector. Krishna is the supreme protector. So therefore, we should trust that whatever Krishna is doing is good for us, is very beneficiary for us, because he is the best well-wishing friend. As he mentioned in Bhagavad Gita 5:29, that he is well-wishing friend to all living entities. Sharing thoughts, fears and hopes with Krishna. It's just, if we accept Krishna, who is residing in our heart as Supreme Lord, as Paramatma, super soul, and we have this attitude, friendly attitude toward the Supreme Lord, we will be able to share our thoughts, be aware that Krishna actually witnessing our thoughts. Since he's witnessing our thoughts, so we should be very open to him and honestly admit that we have some fear. Like I have some fear that I will be not able to say anything on this subject matter, because this is beyond my very limited Kali Yuga understanding and beyond my realizations. So I'm talking about a subject which is very advanced, beyond my realization. So therefore, I was really in big fear. Therefore, I approached my Krishna Balaram Diti Shalagram Shila, and I was begging them, my dear Lord, if you will bless me with a little bit intelligence, that I will be able to say something on your glories and loving devotional service to you for your satisfaction of my Guru Maharaj, then I can please the wonderful devotees and inspire somehow them to open themselves more to this beautiful loving exchanges with your lotus feet. So please forgive me if I'm talking some things that require some correction. Please feel free on the end to make some corrections or improvements, that I will be very glad that we can be more interactive during this class, because it's a really very advanced subject matter. And examples of this intimate relationship and exchanges with the Supreme Lord. Arjuna, for sure, was called Arjuna Sakka, Krishna's friend. Krishna admitted friendly. He is revealing to him this bhakti science because he is devotee and friend. Of course, every one of us for sure have in our mind examples of this wonderful sweet gopas who were assisting with Krishna in Vrindavan Lila, and they many times they were considered Krishna as not as God, the supreme personality of Godhead, the creator of everything, or pervading Brahman, or super soul. No, rather they were thinking, oh, Krishna is one of us. And many times Krishna was sharing with them food, and they were joking with Krishna, were wrestling with Krishna and resting with Krishna, and sometimes they were telling Krishna, Krishna, you are not so strong, we are much stronger than you. So it was just, quite fascinating exchanges of all these gopas with Krishna. There's also another beautiful, sweet example of Sudama Vipra, who was friend with Krishna in Gurukul, in a school where Sandipani Muni were educating them about bhakti science. So this practice of considering Krishna as our best, well-wishing, loving friend, softening our heart, reduces our fear, and builds intimacy with the Supreme God, with the Supreme Lord. So Sakya Rasa is matured bhakti. When bhakti matures through purity, consistency, association of devotees, and mercy, Sakya practice blossom into Sakya Rasa, where equality dominates, reverence disappears, love becomes spontaneous and turning into Raganuga Bhakti. Why the same word is used, the same word Sakyam is used? Because practice reflects the goal. The seed and the fruit share the same name. External behavior gradually aligns with internal identity. This is similar to this previous subject that we discussed, Dasya as a service practice, and Dasya Rasa as eternal servitorship. So scriptural confirmation. Prahlad Maharaj, as is mentioned in this particular text, 7.5.23, is valid, is listed as a valid process of bhakti, as accessibly even to the beginner, accessible even to the beginners. Rupa Goswami mentioned in his Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu as a Sakyam Rasa, as a primary rasa, eternally perfected and spiritually variegated. In Bhagavad Gita, as we already read from 4 chapter, text number 3, Krishna mentioned, emphasizing this point, that I'm revealing you this knowledge, the science, because you are my devotee and friend. So friendship is both path and destination. So principle, example, a devotee may serve Krishna in Dasya practice and relate to him as a friend, Sakyam practice. But internally, the eternal rasa may still be Dasya, Vatsalya, or Madhurya. Thus, practice does not force rasa. It prepares the heart to receive it. Theology, summary. So these 9 processes of devotional services that we analyzing day after day, listed in Srila Prabhupada purport and beautifully elaborated, are methods of approach to Supreme Lord Shri Krishna. Whereas Sakya Rasa, as a rasa, is referring to eternal relationship. So one is cultivated, the other is revealed. Practice invites perfection, but mercy decides rasa. So final insight about this analysis. Sakyam is the doorway. Sakya Rasa is the home. One walks the path through practice, but enters the eternal relationship by Krishna's grace. So what else we can talk about these two, Sakya Rasa and Sakyam, as a friendship in performing devotional service? We can say something about maybe a little bit about psychology of friendship with the Supreme. So in Sakyam Rasa, where reverence, Aishvarya, reside and intimacy, Madhurya, becomes dominant. The devotee does not deny Krishna's divinity in this loving exchanges with Krishna in friendship, but it remains in the background. Love becomes spontaneous, fearless, and natural. The friend of Krishna feels the responsibility for him, sometimes thinking, I must protect Krishna, like we see many times in Krishna's pastimes when we read Krishna book. especially with Mother Yashoda, Nanda Maharaj, and all Gopas as well. This is a remarkable paradox. The Supreme Lord all allows himself to be treated as equal or even dependent by his devotee. Krishna desires loving relationships, not formal worship alone. Friendship satisfies his heart. Like I remember in this particular moment, like when my Guru Maharaj was narrating this particular subject, he mentioned that Krishna, as the supreme person, he has some desires, some uh, willingness to have exchanges with friendly exchanges with his devotees, not on always all the time be worship with reverence and awe. Krishna want to have friendly exchanges, relationship with his devotees. So, because these friendly exchanges are more intimate and love predominates instead of some respect and opulent worship. Like during this lecture, I remember he asked one devotee, "You don't want to be always glorified and respected. This is after some time is quite boring. So you want to have some loving exchanges, some friendly reciprocation, some friendly relationship." So this our tendency actually originates from the Supreme Person, Lord Shri Krishna. So Krishna, in the summarization, Krishna desires loving relationship, not formal worship alone. Friendship is much more satisfactory, it satisfies more Krishna's heart. Practicing bhakti in the mood of Sakyam. While Sakyam Rasa is eternally perfected, we can begin cultivating its spirit in our sadhana even. Practical ways include developing trust in Krishna's guidance in all situations, like we are in some passing situation, let's say on Sankirtan. This devotional service is very challenging. We don't want to be neglected, we don't want to be rejected, we don't want to be ignored. And during Sankirtan book distribution, often it happens. So naturally, we taking shelter at Krishna's lotus feet with our prayers, and we are trying to rely on Krishna's guidance in this particular devotional service. This is the best way. This is like super express to develop trusting, loving relationship with Krishna. If we want some express way, so the Sankirtan book distribution is the perfect devotional service. In this way, we can very quickly develop this trust in Krishna's guidance. Another, speaking to Krishna honestly in prayer, sharing fears, joys, and doubts. So treat Krishna as our best well-wishing friend, as he few times admitted in his Bhagavad Gita. Serving with confidence, initiative, and a sense of partnership rather than fear of mistakes. This is a little bit more advanced platform, but still it referring to revealing our mind in confidence to Krishna. There is some suggestion that we can reveal our mind to Krishna in the mood, Krishna, I am with you and you are with me. So bhakti depends when devotion becomes personal, joyful, and confident. As I remember one lecture of my wife, she mentioned that in this religious upbringing, we were situated before Krishna consciousness, thinking about God is what it was like distant authority, some judging, uh, uh, the highest judge, something like this, and it was like some type of fear and uh, and fear to commit mistakes, some sins that he will be he will punish us for, and therefore we need to be very obedient and not commit any mistakes, no sins, because we will suffer, and because he will punish us. So rather, in bhakti, more advanced uh, platform of spiritual understanding is revealing to us a relationship with God as a constant companion, a best well wisher. So challenges are faced with courage, knowing my friend is with me. Like in a Upadashamrita, this statement, Kavrisheva Chanantava, Avasha, Avasha Rakshiva Krishna, Avasha Rakshiva Krishna, which indicates that confidence of the devotee to Krishna, that Krishna for sure help me and protect me in performing my devotional service. Avasha Rakshiva Krishna. Service is performed with in this way. Service is performed with enthusiasm, creativity, and joy. This mood uh, of fearlessness in spiritual life, simplicity in relationships, and steadiness during difficulties will help us to feel Krishna's presence in all different situations that we face in our life. When Krishna is our friend, life becomes a shared journey rather than the lonely struggle. Do you, devotees? I will finish my scriptural analysis between uh, Sakya Rasa and Sakya as devotional service amongst these nine devotional services. And would you like to share some experiences or realizations or other shastric evidences on the subject matter?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. It's nice to hear you, Prabhu.
Thank you for a very nice class. I think you did a good job of treating this subject matter. It's a difficult subject matter. It's very elevated.
Indeed.
You know, of the various rasas, we understand that Madhurya rasa is the highest. But these things are all relative and transcendental. Sakiras, we might think of as being lesser than Madhurya ras, but it is all the rasas are equally special because spiritually, from the spiritual perspective, everything is absolute. There is no difference. From one perspective, you could say higher or lower, but in any case, for us, um, Sakiras is very advanced, and initially, it may be difficult to relate to because it's important to understand what Sakyam is not. It's not a casual familiarity. It stems from an intense condition of loving service, which initially is executed from a platform of awe and reverence, um, and gradually the mood of servitorship may evolve, it is not something that we can do artificially. You don't gradually adjust your mood or your mentality, your manner of relating to Krishna. It is something which Krishna may choose to do. In the case of Arjuna, Arjuna had a friendly relationship with Krishna as his cousin. They would sit together, they would joke and enjoy intimate exchanges with one another. His mood, Arjuna's mood, was generally not one of reverence or awe, but he also evidence of the fact that his friendly relationship with Krishna is based upon a relationship of intense servitorship, is the fact that within that relationship, Arjuna sometimes would vacillate between different moods. So he begins in Bhagavad Gita as Krishna's friend, but then he accepts Krishna as guru, and then his mood changes. Then his mood is one of reverence. And then later, Krishna reveals to Arjuna his universal form, and then Arjuna's mood is one of intense awe and reverence. And then by Krishna's arrangement, he hides that feature so that Arjuna is able to once again relate to Krishna as a friend. So it's under Krishna's control. And it's not something that we artificially try to manifest. To do so is dangerous. We are warned against this by Srila Prabhupada and the previous acharyas. That's not the process. We begin with a mood of awe and reverence, and other rasas may manifest, they may develop of their own accord in time, but it's not something that we do artificially or by some sort of mental adjustment. That's just not how it works. It will manifest in our heart automatically without separate endeavor. And initially, we may not know what that rasa will be. We don't know our Sarup city initially. It will manifest in time when we are sufficiently purified. And that's the key, that it will come only when we are sufficiently purified. So in the meantime, our focus is purification. We render devotional service in awe and reverence, and gradually purify our heart to the extent that we are eventually qualified to be able to purely relate to Krishna in other rasas. And when Krishna is pleased to do so, he will reveal those other rasas to us. And Krishna is particularly pleased to interact with his devotees in rasas other than dasya or sakya, but it, it's we should not minimize either sakyam or dasyam. They are both very special, very elevated platforms of devotional service. For many of us, we are still struggling to perfect our mood of dasya, and what to speak of sakyam. All of the rasas are built upon dasyam. But Sakyam is very special, a very elevated stage of devotional service. It is not just a cheap kind of familiarity. It's important to understand that. It's nothing like that at all. It's entirely different. It's a completely transcendental manifestation that is for those in early stages of sadhana bhakti. It's not even conceivable. We can't even begin to understand what really is going on there. It appears to be like ordinary friendship. It appears to be the kind of familiarity that we see in ordinary friendly relationships, but it's actually not that at all. It's nothing like that. And it's hard to understand, and it's difficult to explain because it's an entirely different octave of human existence. It's beyond the scope of our experience. It will come in time. The ability to understand these different rasas will assuredly come if we continue with the process. But we should not make the mistake of confusing it with some mundane conception of what Sakyam may be. To prematurely try to imitate Sakya Rasa is without the purification that must precede that platform of behavior is that's the activity of a sahaja. Such a mentality is very dangerous. It doesn't help you in any way, but it can hurt you in a host of ways. So we should not try to jump to such levels of intimacy. Doing that artificially becomes actually offensive. To regard Krishna without the proper mood of reverence is offensive. But there is a stage of extraordinary advancement, a stage at which, through a extremely pure heart, one can relate to Krishna with a kind of transcendental familiarity that is not at all offensive. So how do you understand that, and how do you explain that to someone? It's just very advanced. It's beyond our experience. So what can we do? We have Srila Prabhupada's words and the words of the previous acharyas to go by. We know that these rasas are there. We know something about them. Hard to understand, hard to relate to. It's something to look forward to, but very important that we don't artificially try to jump ahead. That's a great pitfall. And there are many who make this mistake. We're not, in the Western world, we're not so familiar with such a thing. But in India, sahajas are very commonplace. There are many, many people. There are groups. There are deviant sects of Vaishnavas who are dedicated to artificial expressions of bhakti with a sahaja mentality. It's an utter waste of time, and it is offensive. And those who associate with such individuals or hear from them will be hurt by that. It will impede one's progress, one's advancement in Krishna consciousness will be hampered. That kind of association should be strictly avoided. We don't want to become a sahaja. We don't want to be one of those who takes devotional service cheaply. It's important to understand that These rasas are very, very elevated stages of Krishna consciousness. They don't come so quickly or easily. It requires a lot of work over sometimes a long time. Sometimes it might be multiple lifetimes. But we should not generally think that in a few short years of chanting Hare Krishna, I'm going to come to some extraordinarily elevated platform of Krishna Bhakti, relating to Krishna in some particular elevated rasa. Uh, it will all be revealed when we are qualified. And you can't force it, and you can't artificially imitate. We can only focus on activities of purification that will eventually qualify us, so that those transcendental but natural modes of devotional service will manifest in our heart by their own sweet will. So anyway, those are a few of my thoughts.
Thank you. Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Guru. Hare Krishna.
Your words are jewel-like, diamonds-like, the most expensive diamonds-like words of wisdom. Thank you for sharing this beautiful conclusion. It's extremely important what you hear and what you said in such beautiful, conclusive and elaborate way. Thank you so much. Other devotees have any realizations on the subject or want to share something more? My wife, she mentioned something that she has a question.
Możesz powtarzać to, co będę mówić.
Okay,
Thank you so much for a wonderful class.
okay.
No, you say it.
My wife, she has some problem with throat because she is congested and she requested me to repeat what she said. So I'm obliged to repeat. She said, thank you for a nice class,
Wonderful class.
wonderful class.
It was presented with such a clarity.
It was presented with such a clarity. I think that you're talking about Taraka Prabhu comment. It's okay.
And I like very much how you describe the difference between Sakya Rasa and Sakyam.
How it is described clearly difference between Sakyam as devotional service and Sakyarasa.
So my question is that
So my question is,
my understanding of it, how to say it, like what would be your advice about that to treat Krishna as our best friend? That means like you gave some example of opening our mind in confidence, like asking Krishna for help.
you're getting a little bit more complex. Could you please, I'll give you, no. So she's asking about advice in this complex subject. How to treat Krishna with such.
Maybe I repeat what I say.
Okay.
So you mentioned that to practice Sakyam.
To practice Sakyam.
You mentioned that to practice Sakyam.
You mentioned that to practice Sakyam. One open his mind in confidence to Krishna.
One ask Krishna for help.
One ask Krishna for help.
But at the same time, as Taraka Prabhu emphasized, that this friendship with Krishna is not how we commonly understand friendship.
That this friendship with Krishna is not it's not ordinary casual approach.
So for myself, knowing that I am not on even close to
Thinking
the
about
level of
myself, I know that I am not even close to the concept even.
so I know that my approach to Krishna should be with awe and reverence.
I know that my approach to Krishna should be with awe and reverence,
But at the same time,
but at the same time,
if I approach Krishna, treat Krishna with awe and reverence,
I
I found it challenging to open my mind like I would do to a friend, or ask Krishna for help, or have him be like cheer me when I am in, going through some difficulty, because this awe and reverence prevent me I would say even like a freedom of expression. So how would you balance those two together?
So how to open myself, my mind and my heart to Krishna, asking him for help, and open my mind in confidence, begging him for help and guidance. So how to find a balance between this awe and reverence to approach Krishna with respect and proper manner, not inoffensive way, thinking like Sahajiya that I have right to approach Krishna in a friendly mood, which is very a danger, and is not referring to some cheap way. Yeah, it is quite difficult question, as Taraka Prabhu summarized. This is very difficult subject matter. However, Srila Prabhupada and sadhus and shastras informing us that this is our right as a part and parcel of Krishna to connect with Krishna through bhakti. And bhakti itself means love and devotion. So how we can develop love and devotion? Srila Prabhupada in this very in his very statement mentioned, let me find this. Where is this? Engaging in preferring devotional service. Yes, here in the very first stanza, Sakyam. In regards to worshipping the Lord as a friend, the Agastya Samhita states that a devotee engaged in performing devotional service by Shravanam and Kirtanam sometimes wants to see the Lord personally. And for this purpose, he resides in the temple. So Srila Prabhupada created a wonderful facility for all of us who want to practice bhakti and develop this friendly or intimate, loving relationship with the Supreme Lord. Of course, the beginning is always with awe and reverence. We need to approach Krishna in a proper way because he is the Supreme Person. However, by practice, when we purify our consciousness, we purify our heart and our mind, which is full of material desires, full of anarthas, unwanted things that we develop in due course of traveling from one body to another since time immemorial. So we develop a lot of bad habits, a lot of material greediness, lusty desires. So this pollution is very dense in our mind and our consciousness. So go through is very difficult. So therefore, great acharyas like Srila Prabhupada created for us a facility that we can gradually develop this intimate relationship and exchanges with the Supreme Lord. Like he mentioned here, for those who want to develop this personal exchanges or a relationship with the Supreme Lord, temple is created, and then archa process is introduced. So devotee who want to see the Supreme Lord, he can see the Supreme Lord in his very beautiful form of archa, deity. He can worship the Supreme Lord, offering him different paraphernalias of worship. He can offer him food. He can dress him. He can bath him. He can glorify him in prayers or serve him, trying to glorify his glories and devotional service and his devotees by talking about his bhakti knowledge in a Srimad Bhagavatam class. Or there's so many different activities which are meant to satisfy the Supreme Lord. This mentality that I'm working, I'm behaving for Krishna's satisfaction is not only purifying our heart and consciousness and our mind as well, but also helping us to develop this intimate, sweet, friendly relationship with Supreme Lord as the supreme well-wisher. As he mentioned in this Bhagavad Gita 5:29. I don't remember exact words, but let me. Oh yes, I got it. Bhaktaram yagnatapasam sarva lokam maheshwaram suhridam sarva bhutanam nyatva mam shantim richati. A person in full consciousness, Krishna mentioned, in full consciousness of me, means fully Krishna conscious, knowing me to be the ultimate beneficiary, of all sacrifices and austerities, the Supreme Lord of all planets and demigods, and the benefactor and well-wisher of all living entities, attains peace from the pangs of material miseries. So in this way we can see that that understanding Krishna as the supreme being, ultimate beneficiary of all sacrifices and austerities, the supreme Lord of all planets and demigods, he is also the benefactor and well-wisher of all living entities. So this means that if he is assisting us in our own heart as Paramatma Super Soul, life after life, so he naturally is trying to do everything for our own benefit. So naturally, this indicates to us that we can reveal our heart and mind in confidence to him because he's well-wisher. He's the best benefactor. So with this person, with reverence, with respect, we can reveal our heart. We can develop this affectionate relationship with Krishna. So the best practice is approaching our Guru Maharaj. If we understand that spiritual master is just external manifestation of Paramatma Super Soul, best well-wishing friend in our heart, so we will not approach our Guru Maharaj, in frivolous, like so-called, material friend, like tapping him on his shoulder. Hey, buddy, I love you because you're doing wonderful classes or singing so nice, bhajans. No, we are not doing it in this way. We approach with great reverence, we pay obeisances, with great respect, with pranam mantra and pranam and mudra. We approaching to him and asking him question with great respect, or we expressing our doubt or requesting him for help. So in this way, we practice this, how we can approach Krishna. We practice with our Guru Maharaj. And how to approach Guru Maharaj, we have many other wonderful devotees around, God brothers and God sisters. If we treat them with great respect, so then naturally we will be well trained to approach properly to Guru Maharaj. And if we train very good way how to approach Guru Maharaj, so then for sure, if Krishna will appear, we'll be well trained to approach Krishna in proper way. So it's not that we will tremble with fear, but rather with internal confidence, affection, with great respect, we will treat him and reveal our problems of our heart and beg for help to make spiritual progress. So at the same time, although there's reverence, but in the same time, there is also affection in our heart. I don't know if I was able to explain this properly, But for sure, Taraka Prabhu, as walking transcendental spiritual encyclopedia, he will can shower us with his transcendental wisdom much more than me.
Prabhu, I think you explained that well. You know, the manifestation of a genuinely transcendental mood of friendship with Krishna begins from developing a mood of trust and confidence in Krishna, that Krishna is my well-wishing friend under all circumstances. He's always my greatest well-wisher. And so by hearing about Krishna, rendering devotional service, one gradually develops that confidence that Krishna is my well-wishing friend. He is above all others. There is no one else whom I can trust or depend upon to a greater extent than Krishna. He is my shelter. He is the ultimate shelter. And so a devotee gradually, the intimacy between a devotee and Krishna gradually evolves. One learns to become not just trusting in Krishna, but also a devotee becomes honest in dealings with Krishna, confiding one's own fears and weaknesses, and then relying upon Krishna for his help and guidance. It's a development of intimacy that is different than the development of familiarity. It's an intensification of awe and reverence, and not an abandoning of it. The loving mood intensifies to such an extent. The exchanges, the rendering of service becomes so consistent, uninterrupted, that the mood expands into something that we describe as friendship. It resembles mundane friendship. But it must begin from a mood of surrender that begins in intense reverence, and I have to admit here my frailties in my efforts to try to describe this. Stemming largely from my own lack of familiarity with the subject matter, but I'm not sure that what I'm trying to express is coming across. But it's important to understand that Sakyam is not at all like the mundane sentimentality that that one could easily mistake it for. It will spring from steady, consistent, solid devotional service. And I suppose from that perspective, you could understand it to be like a kind of familiarity that one's heart is bound to Krishna consistently, uninterruptedly. So Nishta, but then beyond Nishta to Bhava. But early stages begins with understanding that Krishna is our well-wishing friend, and then to have confidence in that, complete confidence, depending wholly and solely upon Krishna and nothing else, no one else, seeking help from Krishna alone, admitting our weaknesses to Krishna and trusting in his help and guidance. These are early stages that will gradually blossom into more advanced stages of our transcendental relationship with Krishna. And in contrast to this, there is mundane pride, in which we, rather than depending upon Krishna, we think that I am independent. I don't require help. I can handle this myself. But as we advance in devotional service, we recognize inescapably our complete dependence upon Krishna under all circumstances, all of the time. And we readily acknowledge our weaknesses and frailties. We depend completely upon Krishna for everything. He's our only source of strength, our source of knowledge. He is the ability in man. We depend upon him for everything. So first focus is to cultivate a reverential attitude to the extent that it results in a steady and consistent manifestation of devotional service. And from there, other rasas can gradually blossom. In the meantime, in our prayers are submitted with reverence, with great reverence, but we should cultivate confidence that Krishna is our well-wishing friend, and we can depend upon him. We can rely upon him. These are features of friendship. One comes to trust in a friend. One has confidence in a friend and a willingness to confide in a friend without fear of being somehow betrayed. So that's where the transition may begin for a devotee. I hope that was helpful somehow. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you so much again for wonderful elaboration on this subject. Thank you so much. We are so grateful to your words of wisdom. Hare Krishna, all Prabhus, because it's 8:10 in your place. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.